A long, long time ago, there were these bees called Maccabees, and they lived in their own little land, having earned it for themselves. Then, one day, a very mean neighbor from the west came and smoked most of them out. Some of them stayed, but most of them were spread to the west and to the east. Those who went to the west could not settle very well because they were constantly told either become wasps or get out of here. And they moved around a lot. Those who went to the east also didn't have it that great. They weren't treated very nicely. They had to pay extra taxes. And oftentimes they were also forced to either become other things or get out. Anyway, one day, a whole bunch of these Maccabees decided we're going to go back to our beehive. And they went and they started rebuilding their beehive. And although they were annoying, and although some people didn't like them, they produced lots of honey. The neighbors around said, you know what? We should let this beehive be what it should be. Let's take a vote. Some of the neighbors voted to allow the beehive to exist, and others voted not to allow it to exist. But those that voted to allow it to exist won, and the beehive won. But the immediate neighbor did not like that. So the immediate neighbors went and tried to use brooms and smoke to get rid of the bees. But the bees were strong and were able to defeat the neighbors, and the neighbors just gave up, probably because they were weaklings at heart. Anyway, this went on for a while. The bees would live in peace and make their honey, and the neighbors would come and try to get rid of the bees, but the bees would fight back, and they stayed. There was a big neighbor all the way to the west who supported the bees because he wanted the honey. The honey, of course, was medical, technological, and industrial advances and innovation. And he got good bang for his buck. Then one day, a very small neighbor poked a beehive. That small neighbor knew that it wasn't going to get rid of the beehive. That small neighbor knew that not only will it get stung, but all its friends will get stung also. But he hoped that when that happened, the world would turn sympathetic and say, oh, maybe we should get rid of the bees, because bees are not like us. They're not wasps, only when it's convenient for us to call them wasps, wasp settlers from the West. And they're not like us. And although they produce honey and they just want to live alone and be by themselves, we don't like them because they look different than us. And because sometimes they sting. And therefore we have to get rid of them. Now, we have acres and acres and acres of property, and they have one tiny beehive, but it doesn't make a difference. We want to get rid of them. So we're going to change vocabulary. We're going to say that they are trying to get rid of us. We're going to say that they control us. And therefore, hopefully, we can get enough people who are gullible to gang up on them and finally get rid of them. It's not the end, because the bees will continue to survive for a very, very, very long time, forever.